Airports are not neutral ground. They are one of the most carefully engineered commercial environments on the planet, designed to move you through security quickly enough that you do not feel trapped, but slowly enough that you spend money at the restaurants, the shops, and the gates before you board. The airlines know this, the airport operators know this, and the travelers who fly the most have figured out that the whole system has a set of rules underneath the rules, things that are technically available to everyone, but almost never advertised, because the less you know, the more you spend. These are 15 of those things. Some of them will save you money the very next time you fly. Some of them will save you time, and a couple of them will make you genuinely frustrated that nobody told you sooner. Number 1. The airport lounge access that millions of credit card holders already have and never use. Airport lounges feel exclusive. The frosted glass doors, the quiet seating away from the gate chaos, the free food and open bar. Most travelers walk past them assuming they require a first-class ticket or a membership that costs hundreds of dollars a year. Here's what a significant portion of those travelers do not know. If you carry a Chase Sapphire Reserve, an American Express Platinum, a Capital One Venture X, a Citi Prestige, or any of a dozen other mid to premium travel credit cards, you almost certainly have access to the Priority Pass network, which includes over 1,400 lounges across 600 cities worldwide. The card benefit is often buried in the welcome package or the benefits portal, and cardholders simply never activate it. Activation is free. It takes about 5 minutes through your credit card's benefits portal. You receive a physical or digital Priority Pass card. Then every time you fly through an airport with a participating lounge, walk in, show the card, and get the same experience that other people paid a day pass fee to access. The American Express Centurion Lounges, which are a step above Priority Pass, come with American Express Platinum membership and are consistently rated among the best airport lounges in the United States. If you have that card and have never walked into a Centurion Lounge at Dallas-Fort Worth, LaGuardia, or Miami International Airport, you have been leaving a significant travel benefit completely on the table. Number 2. Why you should never buy travel insurance at the airport or at the point of sale when booking. The travel insurance kiosk at the departure gate and the insurance add-on checkbox during the airline booking process are both aggressively priced products, sold at the moment of peak anxiety, when you are already spending money and thinking about what could go wrong. The coverage they offer is real, but the price markup compared to purchasing equivalent coverage through a standalone travel insurance provider is often substantial. More importantly, a growing number of travel credit cards include trip cancellation insurance, trip delay reimbursement, baggage loss coverage, and emergency medical coverage as automatic benefits when you use the card to book the travel. Chase Sapphire Reserve and Chase Sapphire Preferred, the Amex Platinum and Amex Gold, and several co-branded airline cards include trip delay reimbursement that kicks in after a certain number of hours of delay and covers meals and accommodation. Many cardholders have this coverage and do not know it exists until they actually need it and go looking. Before you click the travel insurance add-on at checkout, spend 10 minutes reviewing the benefits guide for the credit card you used to book the flight. You may already be covered for the scenarios you are most worried about. Number 3. Passenger rights that entitle you to compensation. Rights most airlines hope you will not claim. When your flight is delayed or canceled, the airline's first move is usually to rebook you on the next available flight and give you a form apology. What they do not volunteer is that, depending on the circumstances, you may be legally entitled to significantly more than that. In the United States, the Department of Transportation requires airlines to compensate passengers for involuntary denied boarding due to overbooking. That compensation is calculated as a multiple of the one-way fare, up to a federally mandated maximum. For delays over 1 hour on domestic flights, the compensation floor starts at 200% of the one-way fare, up to $775. For delays over 2 hours, it rises to 400%, up to $1,550. In Europe, the situation is even more clearly defined. EU Regulation 261/2004 covers all flights departing from EU airports and all flights arriving at EU airports on EU-based carriers. Under this regulation, a flight cancellation or delay of 3 hours or more entitles passengers to cash compensation ranging from €250 to €600, depending on flight distance, provided the disruption was not caused by extraordinary circumstances like severe weather. The key detail most travelers miss is that you have to claim this compensation. The airline will not proactively offer it. You need to know your rights, ask at the customer service desk, and if you are denied, file a complaint with the DOT or the relevant EU national enforcement body. Number 4. TSA. PreCheck and Global Entry are cheaper and easier to get than most people assume. TSA PreCheck costs $78 for 5 years. Global Entry includes TSA PreCheck and expedited customs clearance for international travelers, and it costs $100 for 5 years. When you break that down, you are paying between $15 and $20 per year to skip the regular security line, keep your shoes on, leave your laptop in your bag, and use the faster dedicated lane. If you have flown even twice and stood in a standard TSA line during a busy travel period, you already understand the value. What fewer people know is that the application process is straightforward. The in-person enrollment appointment is often available within a few weeks at major airports. A growing list of credit cards, including Chase Sapphire Reserve, Amex Platinum, Amex Green, and several others, reimburse the application fee as an annual credit. That means for a significant number of travelers, TSA PreCheck or Global Entry is functionally free. You apply, you pay, you submit for the credit card reimbursement, and the cost comes back to you within 1 to 2 billing cycles. For Global Entry specifically, there is also an enrollment on arrival option available at many major international airports. If you return from an international trip without Global Entry and your flight lands at a participating airport, you may be able to complete the enrollment interview at the customs facility before leaving the airport, skipping the separate appointment entirely. Number 5. The gate agent is the most underutilized resource at any airport. Gate agents have discretionary authority that most travelers never think to use. They can change your seat assignment. They can move you to an earlier flight on standby if space is available. When a flight is significantly delayed, they can issue meal vouchers. When a flight is canceled, they can rebook you, and their access to inventory sometimes allows options that are not visible through the airline app or the customer service phone line. The catch is that gate agents are also managing a boarding process, handling irregular operations, answering questions from dozens of passengers, and often working in a high-stress environment. The travelers who get the most out of gate agent interactions are the ones who approach at the right moment and ask clearly and politely. The right moment is not during boarding. It is either well before boarding begins, when the agent has a window between tasks, or immediately after a delay or cancellation is announced, before the line of frustrated passengers forms. The right ask is specific, reasonable, and phrased as a question rather than a demand. If you are traveling in economy and there are open seats in business class on a domestic flight, there is no harm in walking up calmly and asking whether any complimentary upgrades are available. Gate upgrades happen. They happen more often to travelers who ask than to travelers who do not. Number 6. The water bottle trick that most frequent travelers use without thinking about it. Airport water is one of the clearest examples of captive audience pricing. A standard 16-ounce bottle of water in the terminal after security commonly costs between $3 and $5 at major United States airports. In international terminals, the markup can be even more extreme. The solution is simple and completely free. Bring an empty, reusable water bottle through security. An empty bottle has no liquid content, so it clears the TSA checkpoint without any issue. Once you are through security and airside, nearly every major airport in the United States now has water bottle filling stations installed near water fountains, often upgraded specifically for bottle refills with filtered water. In airports like Denver International, Hartsfield-Jackson, Atlanta, and Los Angeles International, LAX, filling stations are plentiful and easy to find. In some international airports, the location of filling points requires a bit more searching, but they exist in most modern facilities. Over a multi-leg trip with a family of 4, this habit saves $20 to $40 in bottled water purchases without any inconvenience. It is one of those airport habits that frequent travelers adopt early and never give up. Number 7. How to read a seat map to almost guarantee an empty seat next to you. Airlines release flight seat maps to the public that show which seats are occupied and which are still available. Most travelers look at this map, pick a seat, and stop there. Travelers who understand the game use the map to predict what the cabin will look like at departure. Middle seats fill last. This is a consistent and reliable pattern across virtually every airline and every route. If you select an aisle seat in a row where the window seat is taken but the middle seat is still open, there is a reasonable chance you will have extra space on a flight that is not completely sold out. If the flight is sold out, the middle seat will fill, but your aisle position still gives you the best legroom access and fastest exit. An advanced version of this strategy is to pick rows toward the back of economy where adjacent seats tend to remain empty more often, or to choose exit row seats where the middle seat sits next to a wall rather than another passenger. Different aircraft layouts create different opportunities, and learning to read the seat map for your specific aircraft type pays off over time. Check in at exactly the 24-hour mark before departure. That leads directly into the next secret. Number 8. The 24-hour check-in window is not just about getting a boarding pass. Most travelers know that online check-in opens 24 hours before scheduled departure. What fewer travelers know is that the 24-hour mark is also when seat inventory that was previously held back gets released, and when airlines process any pending upgrade requests. Airlines hold a portion of preferred seats, including exit rows, bulkhead rows, and in some cases seats with extra legroom, as complimentary upgrades for elite status members. At 24 hours out, any of those held seats that have not been assigned often become available to all passengers in the cabin. If you have been waiting on a seat change that was previously unavailable, checking in the moment the window opens gives you the best shot at grabbing it. For flights where upgrades are available as paid or points-based options, 24 hours is often when the processing runs and assignments are confirmed. Being logged in and ready to check in the moment the window opens is a habit that takes almost no effort and occasionally delivers a meaningfully better seat. Number 9. The carry-on size game that airlines play unevenly. Every major airline publishes maximum carry-on dimensions. For most U.S. carriers, the standard is 22 by 14 by 9 inches, including wheels and handles. These limits are real. They are also enforced with wildly different levels of consistency depending on the airline, the route, the airport, the gate agent, and how full the overhead bins are. The bag sizer frame that sits at the gate is the enforcement tool. If your bag fits through the frame, it is allowed. If it does not, you will be checking it at the gate. The inconsistency comes from the fact that many agents simply do not measure every bag, especially when boarding is moving smoothly and the bins have space. Enforcement tightens dramatically on completely full flights and at smaller regional airports. When a regional jet with limited overhead bin space boards a sold-out flight, gate agents frequently move proactively to check bags at the gate before boarding even begins. Gate-checked bags on regional jets are free on most carriers, which is one reason many seasoned travelers deliberately carry slightly larger bags on regional connections and accept the gate check as part of the plan. Knowing the enforcement pattern of your specific airline on your specific route type allows you to pack smarter rather than just lighter. Number 10. If your flight is delayed, your phone is more powerful than the customer service line. When a significant flight disruption happens, whether a cancellation, a lengthy delay, or a missed connection. The customer service desk at the gate becomes a line of frustrated passengers competing for the attention of one or two agents. That line can take 45 minutes to 2 hours to clear. By the time you reach the front, the most desirable rebooking options may already be gone. What a growing number of experienced travelers do instead is call the airline's customer service line immediately while still standing near the gate. The phone agent has access to the same rebooking inventory as the gate agent, often with a shorter wait time, and can frequently process a rebooking faster than the person at the desk. The advanced version of this is to call the international customer service line for your airline instead of the US domestic number. Many airlines route international calls to different call centers that may have shorter wait times. American Airlines, United, and Delta all have international contact numbers that reach the same booking systems. A quick search for the airline's country-specific contact number takes less than a minute and can shave significant time off your wait. If you find this useful, hit subscribe. New travel content comes out every week covering the systems, the tricks, and the quiet advantages that change how you experience flying. Now, let's keep going. Number 11. Where to actually eat at the airport without paying tourist prices. Airside food, meaning food purchased after clearing security, is priced at a premium that most travelers simply accept as the cost of being in the airport. The average meal at a full-service airport restaurant in a major United States terminal runs between $20 and $40 before drinks and tip. Fast food options that cost $8 at street level often cost $14 inside the terminal. What many travelers do not know is that the pricing differential between landside and airside food at the same airport is sometimes dramatic enough to justify arriving a bit earlier and eating before going through security. Many airports have full food courts, food halls, and sit-down restaurants on the landside before the security checkpoint at standard street pricing. For travelers who are already past security, the best-kept secret is usually the food options inside the airport lounge if you have access. Most priority pass lounges include complimentary food as part of access, ranging from snacks and buffet items to full meal service at certain locations. A meal in the lounge before boarding costs nothing beyond your card's annual fee, which you are paying regardless. At airports where lounge access is not an option, the food pricing tends to be most competitive at quick service counters compared to sit-down restaurants. Terminals that have recently undergone renovation often attract newer food and beverage concepts competing for terminal lease space, which helps keep prices lower. Number 12. How airlines oversell flights and what you are actually owed when they bump you. Overbooking is legal, intentional, and universal. Airlines sell more tickets than seats on virtually every flight because historical data shows a predictable percentage of passengers will not show up. When the model works, the flight departs full and everyone gets where they are going. When it does not work and everyone shows up, someone does not get on the plane. The airline's first move is to ask for volunteers at the gate. The initial offer is typically a travel credit, sometimes with a meal voucher and accommodations if rebooking requires an overnight stay. What most travelers do not know is that the initial offer is almost always negotiable. Gate agents have authority to increase the compensation amount, and volunteers who counteroffer before accepting frequently receive more than the first number on the board. Involuntary bumping, meaning being removed from the flight without volunteering, triggers the Department of Transportation compensation rules mentioned earlier in this video. The cash compensation requirements are mandatory and legally binding. If you are involuntarily bumped, you are entitled to a refund of your original ticket and additional compensation based on delay length. The airline must provide that compensation in cash or a check, not only travel credit if you request it. A strategic move for leisure travelers with flexible schedules is to proactively ask at the gate on oversold flights whether the airline is looking for volunteers. If the flight is oversold and your schedule can absorb the delay, you may be able to trade a seat on the next departure for a travel credit worth several $100s and still reach your destination the same day. Number 13. What happens to your checked bag is messier than the airline will ever tell you. The mishandled baggage rate across U.S. airlines sits in a range the industry calls manageable, but that translates to millions of bags delayed, damaged, or lost every year. The Department of Transportation's Air Travel Consumer Report publishes mishandling statistics by carrier, and the numbers are not small. In peak travel periods around the holidays and the summer travel season, the rate climbs noticeably. The bags most likely to be delayed are those checked on tight connections, bags checked at the last minute before boarding, and bags traveling on itineraries that include multiple carriers. The transfer between two different airline systems, where a bag tagged on one carrier needs to be physically moved and re-tagged for another, is the point of highest vulnerability. The most practical tool currently available for tracking a checked bag is a Bluetooth tracker like an Apple AirTag or a tile placed inside the bag. AirTags work through the Find My network, which means that as long as your bag passes near any Apple device anywhere in the airport or baggage system, its location pings to your phone. When a bag goes missing, knowing that it is sitting in the baggage handling area at a connecting airport rather than completely missing dramatically speeds up the recovery process and gives you something concrete to show the baggage claim agent. Beyond tracking, photographing your bag and its contents before checking it and retaining the baggage claim receipt are the steps that most people skip and most deeply regret when a bag actually goes missing. Number 14. The elite status strategy that costs far less than most people think. Airline elite status, the gold, platinum, and diamond tiers that unlock priority boarding, free upgrades, bonus miles, and complimentary checked bags, feels like something reserved for business travelers who fly every week for work. For the top tiers of status at major carriers, that is largely accurate. But the entry tier of status at most airlines requires a qualifying spend or a qualifying miles threshold that is lower than most occasional travelers realize. There are two strategies for reaching that threshold without traveling more than you otherwise would. The first is the status match. Most major airlines will match a competitor's elite status if you hold it and can demonstrate it with a screenshot of your current status page. A status match typically requires flying a qualifying number of segments or spending a qualifying amount within a set window. But you start from a matched status level rather than from zero. Travelers who hold status on one carrier and are switching airlines, or who want to build status on a second carrier, use status matches routinely. The second strategy is the mileage run. That is the practice of booking a round-trip flight specifically because the miles or segments it generates put you over a status qualification threshold, not because you actually need to go anywhere. A well-timed round trip to a destination with cheap fares can yield enough qualifying miles to push you into the next status tier, with a net cost that comes out well below what the status benefits are worth over the following year. Neither strategy makes sense for every traveler. For someone who already flies 4 or 6 times a year and is consistently just short of status qualification, understanding that these tools exist changes the math significantly. Number 15. The airport security lane you are standing in matters more than you know. This one is practical in a different way. It is not about money or miles. It is about those 15 minutes of your life you spend in the TS standard line that you are never getting back. Every major airport security checkpoint has multiple lanes. Some are TSA PreCheck lanes, some are standard lanes. Within the standard lane system, there are patterns that experienced travelers learn to read. The lane staffed by more agents moves faster. The lane closest to the baggage carousel at the far end of the checkpoint tends to have lighter traffic because travelers walking through the main entrance naturally veer toward the lanes directly ahead of them. Lanes at the far ends of the checkpoint are consistently undercrowded relative to the lanes in the center. Beyond lane selection, the travelers in line ahead of you matter. Families with small children, travelers who have never been through security before, and large groups all slow the line in ways you often do not see until you are already committed to that lane. Experienced travelers position themselves behind solo travelers with carry-on only,
because those people will clear the belt and the scanner in under 90 seconds. None of this changes the fact that security is an experience that requires patience. But these small adjustments, multiplied across every trip you take, represent a meaningful amount of time and frustration saved over the course of a travel life. 15 things the airport would rather you figured out on your own. Lounge access, sitting dormant on your credit card. Compensation rights, nobody announces at the gate. Gate agents with authority they will use if you simply ask. A phone call that beats a 90-minute line. An AirTag that gives you the only real peace of mind your checked bag can offer. The airport is a system, and like any system, the people who understand how it works get more out of it than the people who just move through it. Hit subscribe if you want to keep building that understanding. Every week there is a new video covering what the airlines and airports know that most passengers do not. The video on screen right now covers everything that happens to your bag from the moment you check it to the moment you see it on the carousel, and some of it is genuinely surprising.